curtain, simply curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today. From my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I love today. One street over there's a life I could have known. Things aren't all.
Hi, we're the Shire Brothers, and you're listening to WSGI AM 1100 Springfield,
God's Informer.
But I'll tell you, here's some really exciting news. You are going to have an opportunity to hear some live music tomorrow, because we're getting ready for the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. And, of course, our Ridgetop Ramblers, the originators of the song One Street Over. I don't know if any of those guys are coming in tomorrow. I think David's coming in, David Mitchell. Barry Richards will be here. I think they said String Bean's coming. I'll have to look at the list and see who Barry told me. We're bringing in some musicians tomorrow. Going to be talking all about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. It's this weekend. It's Friday and Saturday. In the evening, we'll, of course, have the Dan Kelly Memorial Fiddle Competition, but it's anything to do with bluegrass music, 14 and under musical competition. We're going to have clogging competition as well, 14 and under, and they're also going to have a 15 and above. They're going to bring in another, some of the older kids, too, to do a little clogging contest for us. And then we go into the barn, the tobacco barn that's been renovated into this stage. If you've not been to Kilgore Park, you don't know what you're missing. It is so much fun. We're going to have a square dance, and I'm excited about it. It is going to, and the musicians that come together to bring that music on Friday night, oh my goodness, it's just awesome. And then, of course, all day on Saturday, you've got the Bluegrass Festival itself. So have I convinced you, Rachel? Are you coming? Come on. I'm telling you.
I'm almost convinced. I got baseball games this weekend,
Of course you do.
2 boys last weekend. Yep.
Yeah, how old are the boys?
So my oldest just turned 7. My youngest is 5.
Oh, of course.
We have been at the ballpark 6 days a week. We're about done though. So I'm bummed to miss it.
Well, I'm telling you, you say you're done, but you mean that oldest one's not signed up for travel ball?
No, not yet.
That's what's happening with my 8-year-old grandson. I'm just, anyway, it was so funny because my boys did not play baseball because I've got 4 of them. And we were just like, it's just too much. We can't do it. We can't do baseball. And so my kids to this day, I can't believe you didn't let us play baseball. It's a rite of passage, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. I couldn't do it. I mean, the schedules, plus the fact we were running a roofing company. I was doing radio, and there's all kinds of things with radio. There's always remotes and things we had to do. We just could not do it. It is a lot. It's a lot. And my oldest grandson, he is playing travel ball. And it's fun when you're out there, but it's all it is. And we don't, so I'm kind of mixed on this baseball thing. I support my grandkids. I want to do everything they want to do, but it's just so intrusive into everything else you want to do for the family. So
it's very true. We love it, but we're ready for it to be over.
Balance, but so for those of you that are not going to be on the baseball field, but here's the fun thing about the festival is it's got, I mean, you can pay $10, 12 and under is free. You can come that Friday, or you can come just Friday or just Saturday or both of it. You can come back and forth, because it'll be going on all day Saturday. So it's going to be just a great time. But you can tune in on Thursday and listen to some of it, because
I will.
love bluegrass music.
I do too. It sounds like a great time.
Well, a friend of mine, she calls it happy music.
Mm-hmm.
And it is happy music. But how are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And bless your heart, you've been through it. Y'all had a tornado take all those trees down in your house and crush your car. Sarah showed me pictures. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Because I'll just recap real quick. She told me this beautiful story about, we were talking about personal finance and all this kind of stuff, and how y'all built y'all just this magnificent dream home. And you're like, we can't afford this. And y'all made the very hard decision to sell the home that you had built, custom built, and move into a smaller home, something more practical. And then the minute you're trying to renovate, and then they had these beautiful trees in the yard, and they're just whoosh, they're down.
Yep.
And you're like, bless your heart. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's a fallen world we live in, and you get those valleys, but you appreciate the mountaintops after you've been through some valleys. And I'm so sorry.
For sure. I think the craziest thing was, we were in the middle of renovating our kitchen. We had just taken out our kitchen cabinets and had them in the front yard. And tree crashed on those as well.
So you had just renovated these cabinets that you were about to hang back up.
So we had taken the old ones off, and they were in the front yard. We were going to paint them and everything. So it's okay. We're getting new kitchen cabinets now.
Bless
new
your
countertops.
heart.
It's all good. But it's definitely been challenging. But I will tell you, one of the coolest things about when you go through a natural disaster like that is all of our neighbors immediately, we all just walked outside and we're all like, what just happened? And we're looking at each other's yards and houses, and immediately just everybody starts going to work to help each other.
Yeah.
And it was just like such a bonding moment.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
That.
That's the thing. Anytime you've been in a situation where you just see people come together like that, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible to watch. And I know Mayfield. I keep bringing up Mayfield, but being from there and seeing that town flattened, it was just incredible to see how people just circled around. And I mean, and that was just such a crazy time, because it was miles and miles and miles of these little towns. But anytime you've been through that, it's amazing. And if you're physically able to go out and be a blessing anytime that happens, you will be so blessed. If you go out there and just roll your sleeves up, or whatever, get your chainsaw out and just help, it will bless you so abundant. That was the thing. A lot of times in these natural disasters, you have to almost turn away volunteers.
Yeah.
Because you get so overwhelmed. And don't we live in an amazing place?
We do.
Oh, we really do.
I have to say, there was this cute little lady who drove around bringing us sandwiches. She had made up a bunch of peanut butter and jelly and ham and cheese sandwiches. She knew none of us had power and couldn't have, our kitchens going. And she was like, you guys are working so hard. And that's how she served us. She couldn't lift up tree limbs or anything. But I thought that was so sweet. So this actually really segues super nice into the first story I want to talk about today.
StayPositive.news, by the way. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
So Rachel Allison's here, and we want to hear the positive news stories. And so what have you got for us this morning?
So actually, Toby Swagger, I heard about him. I was at a BNI group in Hendersonville, and somebody said, you need to call Toby Swagger. He is a great guy. He just got recognized by the Nashville Predators as a hometown hero.
Okay.
And he has a nonprofit called Good Works, or that's the arm of his nonprofit that does disaster relief.
Right.
And so anytime it storms, he has so many connections throughout Sumner County, kind of Goodlettsville area, and they come. So just like with the tornado that happened to us, like they go directly to these, they bring water, they bring their chainsaws, they bring trucks, they haul off stuff. They do literally whatever is needed. He even was in Mayfield when all that happened. He went and volunteered out there. And he started in 2010 with this agency of helping people. And so it's a really great volunteer opportunity. I know, end of the school year, a lot of kids are looking to fill those volunteer hours. They actually, besides disasters, they host classes for like home ownership and storm preparedness that are free for the community. They also have a space where if you are a nonprofit owner or board member or something and you want to host a meeting or a training with your nonprofit, you can use their space for free.
That is really cool.
He's a really great guy.
So, and tell me the name of the nonprofit again.
So it's called Walking with Swagger. His last
Okay.
name is Swagger, Toby Swagger.
I love it.
And then
Right now, this is perfect.
the
That is so
volunteer
perfect.
group is called Good Works, and they
Okay.
focus on the disaster recovery. But Walking with Swagger, excuse me, you can check out their website and learn more. I was on it this morning. It's really cool to see all the things that they're involved in locally, and just the difference that they've made. They also really focus on serving the elder community.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story about a woman whose sink just opened up and was just like a geyser of water.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to do. She was an old lady that lived by herself. She called the
Yeah.
fire department, and the fire department's well, like,
We
that's
can't-
that's
that's
not
not
in
what
our
we do."
wheelhouse. The fire department called Toby Swagger, and he was out there fixing her sink for her.
Aw.
And they just do little stuff like that
I
too.
love that. Now, do you have a story about them? I'm looking through your. Are y'all
do.
getting? Are you getting ready to post it, or have you already got it up?
It's posted.
Okay.
Toby Swagger named Nashville Predators hometown hero.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking this up right now. That is so cool. I love that. I love that. And this staypositive.news is what we're talking about, guys. It's just wonderful, wonderful news stories that if you want to, have something that's going to lift you up, this is the place to go if you want to see some really cool. Right there they are. I've got it now. Toby Swagger, honored as Nashville Predators hometown hero for community impact. That is really cool. When did you say when they got started? How long have they been at that? If they were at Mayfield, that's been several years ago.
So they
I wonder when they got
officially were
going.
founded in 2017.
Okay.
He really started his volunteer work after the 2010 Tennessee floods.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And really made it official in 2017.
I love it. I love it. And they got their trucks and it's got Good Works. How cool is that? I love this. This is what a neat thing to do. What does he do for a living? I mean, is he retired or is it
I
just,
think this is it now.
yeah,
He does the nonprofit.
he runs the
ministry.
nonprofit ministry. That is so cool. Well, people have different ideas for ministry ideas and sometimes God just drops them in your lap,
Yep.
and it sounds almost like that's what happened with this guy.
Yeah.
He's just
It's
like,
really
hey, this
cool.
needs to be done. So that is amazing. I love that. That is so cool. And I mean, what a great name.
Yeah.
Walking with
Walking
Swagger.
with Swagger.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. What a great story. See, that's what staypositive.news. That's where you find this stuff. That is so cool. I love that story. And it's in a time when, I mean, we have just had so much rain, so much. We've been fortunate that there's not been more flooding than we've had, but
Yes.
the tornadoes, when did the tornado come through your area?
April 7th,
Okay.
I think. It was that
Yes.
really bad storm that just
Yeah.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, that was the day we had prom.
Yes.
That was
there was a
prom.
bunch of proms going on that day.
We had, well, as a matter of fact, because it was one of those things too, that you cancel everything you can, but it's really hard to cancel prom because you don't want to disappoint the kids because they've spent so much money on all their stuff. You've got the venue. You can't, venues are just, I mean,
Can't reschedule
you
that.
can't reschedule them. And so we were up in it's up towards Gallatin where we were, probably not too far from where that thing came through.
Right.
So we were very blessed by the Lord that we got those kids got there and got home safe. I mean, the kids that are getting ready to graduate, they went through COVID. They had a tornado on their prom, and so
Bless
now we're
them.
just really praying for. This is my Greenbrier kiddos. We're just praying for wonderful weather Monday night when they graduate. Speaking of graduations, they start tonight, y'all, here in the county.
Wow.
We've got a graduation tonight, tomorrow night, Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 Monday night and Tuesday night.
Well, congratulations. To
There
all
you
those
go.
Seniors.
It's graduation time. So
Wow. know.
If you see Dr. Weeks, pat him on the back because he's going to be going boom, boom, boom. He's going to be running like crazy to all these graduations. It's got to be exhausting. But yeah, graduation time. I know, I forget which ones are when. I know Springfield's is tomorrow night because my husband works at Springfield. I know ours, Greenbrier's, is on Monday because I work at Greenbrier. And I know White House Heritage is sometime on Saturday. I don't know if it's the early one because they have one on Saturday morning, then they have one Saturday evening. I forget which is which, but those are the only ones that I really know about because I have people that are associated with those. But there you go. But I'm glad you guys are okay. And did this guy show up at your place? Or
We did not, but
you
you
had
know
plenty
what?
of other help, though. That's just it.
We did.
Yeah.
But that's a great resource too for anybody that
Yeah.
you know who goes through a disaster
Yeah.
and is in this area. You
Yes.
could reach out to them for sure.
Or if you have somebody like this, like this sweet lady that needed help, a lot of the times I spent 7 years working at the church, and we would get some of the most bizarre calls, and you'd want to help, but you just didn't have anybody that you could send.
Yes.
And we have a group of, you always have your deacons, and we've got Don Bellis is leading up this group of our deacons now that they're trying to do more of those kinds of things that you're
Yeah.
talking about. But it's hard to keep that organized and people that aren't, that are available when you need them. So that's like you said, it's just another resource that you can give him a call and he'll try to help you out. That is awesome. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
I love it.
StayPositive.news, guys. If you want to hear the positive news that's going on in the world, that's where you go. And it's all online. And speaking of being all online, we're all online today. We've been having some signal issues. I know the terrestrial signal was down on Monday. They're working on it right now. I talked to Ilya Maldonado, our president of Ebenezer Broadcasting. He's been at the tower working today. So the terrestrial signal is not transmitting, but of course, social media is really what drives what we're doing here because we are a worldwide Christian broadcast company via the internet. You can find us on YouTube, you can find WSGI on Facebook. You can, of course, go to LaVern, you turn LaVern Vivio and follow there. And I try to link the radio station so you see how to connect with it. StayPositive.news. Again, it's all online, but that's how we work now. My kiddos at school, we will never lose our terrestrial signals because we have to have them because God forbid something happen, a disaster of some kind, that's all we'll have. I mean, those things you can broadcast with very, very few, you need a generator to run a tower. That's it. And batteries to operate your radios. You can get signals out if you have a disaster. So you're going to always have them and you need to always appreciate them and maintain them if at all possible. But the kids don't listen to terrestrial signals anymore. I talk to them about Woody and Jim and different guys I've worked with over the years, and they don't know who that is anymore.
That's
That
crazy.
blows my mind. Because their parents will be like, "Oh, your teacher's U-turn LaVern," and they're like, "What?" He was a traffic reporter. Oh, I don't what? Because they're just like, "Why don't you just Google traffic? Why would you need a traffic reporter?" I mean, they don't work the way we did,
No.
and so we're on all the things today. We just don't have our signal, but they're working on it. It possibly might be back up and running tomorrow. So sit tight with us. Get your phones out, your iPads, your computers out, and just listen. Get Siri to say, "Hey, tune in," because that'll pop up the app with no problem. So, but I do want to make that note that I know some people we've had some questions about it, but they're working on it. So, what else have you got for us that you want to share this morning, Rachel?
Oh, lots of good stories.
Okay.
By the way, we just turned 2 years old.
Did you?
Yep.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
How fun is that?
2 years ago, Stay Positive News was founded. I love this story, because there was nothing. We have some local news agencies here, but there was nothing that focused purely on positive things. Right. And if I'm being honest, a lot of our locals' stories are not great because that's what gets the clicks. That's what gets the views, accident here, house fire here, this person arrested here. Yeah. People are nosy and like to know that information, but it's not good for us to constantly be exposed to that kind of negative information all of the time. So we really wanted to balance that out. And so myself, Donnie Eden, and Jamie Nixon, we got together and we thought we want to create something where the news is like 80% positive on our site and the other stuff's not negative. It's maybe just kind of neutral news. Yeah. But 80% of what we're going to put out there is going to have a very, very positive emphasis to it. And we did that because we know that our community is a great place to live, but those stories weren't being told.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, we came up with, all right, we're going to call it Stay Positive News. We're going to cover Robertson County, which is where, Donnie and Jamie lived, and I live in Sumner County. So I said, well, I want to cover Sumner too. And we got started. And we are so, so fortunate today. Most of our writers that we started with are still with us. Sarah was one of our first writers. She's now our creative director. Chris, one of our first writers, he's our editor. And
a teacher.
Went back to
we just
a
love
new career.
Mr. V.
We love him. It's been such a blessing to be a part of this community, to share these positive news stories. So I'm just so thankful for the 2 years that we've had. And I'm thankful for our partners who have, made that possible for us. And I know that you guys have partners here at the radio too, who sponsor you and make it possible. And I just want to urge, if you are a business and you are contributing to something like, WSGI or Stay Positive News or the Chamber or another nonprofit in our area, please know that you are making an incredible difference with your contribution. And thank you. We're incredibly grateful. So
thank you for saying that, because I'm going to be knocking on more doors. We've got some new sponsors that have been on. We've got Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market, and then we have got the UPS store, and of course Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, our list of sponsors right now. But we need several more, and so we're going to be bringing some more on. So I appreciate what you just said, and let me just kind of throw this out there real quick. For us, 615-594-7736, 615-594-7736. How can they, that's me, you can call, you text me and let me know you want to talk about some advertising. How can they get in touch with you if they want to advertise on staypositive.news?
Shoot us a message. We can respond either on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or our website, staypositive.news. There is a contact form on there.
Okay, very good. Because we do. It's just like they're working on the tower. It costs money.
Yep.
To keep this up and running. And with us having a terrestrial signal, we have to maintain that with the FCC. And so there's a lot of rules and regulations that go along with that. And we want to keep this signal strong here in Robertson County. So, help us out with that, guys. Reach out to us. We're talking with Rachel Allison. She is with staypositive.news. Want to encourage you to, if you want something, I've talked a lot about how that about 4 years ago, I just flipped and quit tuning in to the news of the day. I would hit my feet would hit the floor, and I would turn on news radio. And I still love my news radio friends, but it was poisoning my spirit. And I quit it, and it's made all the difference in the world. I try so hard to start my day with something spiritual and something positive. And it is a game changer, guys, when you just put that uplifting stuff in your soul first thing in the morning.
It is.
It changes things. So what else have you got for us today?
Oh, lots of stories. So since school's almost over, I better tell this one. We have a dancing traffic cop in Sumner County. His name is Officer Chris Lauderdale. He works 3 schools a day: Station Camp, elementary, middle, and high school.
I saw this story. I thought it was hysterical.
Morning and afternoon. So this man is out there directing traffic, and he's dancing while he's doing it. And the really great story about him, he has a wonderful kind of background. He had a different career, a different life. He had some struggles with alcoholism. About 6 years ago, he tells the story that he woke up in a field one morning.
Wow.
And he said, God, help me. Please help me. And the Lord answered his prayers. And he decided he was going to change careers. He wanted to be a police officer.
Wow.
And at the age of 50,
wow,
became a police officer, and Gallatin Police hired him on. And now he gets to bring joy to these schools every day. And he knows that his job is very, very important, because he's what kids, all of those kids, are seeing every day as a representation of a police officer. And the way that he is smiling and sharing positivity and being fun and being open to making connections with those people is giving them and those children an incredible frame of reference on who's serving the community and how you should approach and relate to police officers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wonderful story. All of
I
that.
loved that story when I saw. I just telling you, it was just when I saw some video of him,
Yes.
and I just thought, wow, how cute. But I didn't get all the backstory. I didn't get a chance to read the entire story, so I did not realize that because, and man, I love hearing all of these wonderful stories of transformation because I work with Celebrate Recovery. I was at Celebrate Recovery last night at Epiphany Baptist Church. We have it every Tuesday night. We got Celebrate Recovery tonight at Madison Church of Christ. There's one up in Greenbrier on Sundays. They're all the time. And you hear these stories of that complete restoration, redemption, and how it can be done. Because people that get caught up in this, they think that there's no answer, but there is.
There is.
Always is. I love it. That is a great story. I
Yeah.
love that. I did not know he had the addiction in his background.
Yeah.
How cool.
That's amazing
Way to
for a
go.
police officer as well to have just that history to be able to relate to anyone that he might deal with outside of, that school setting. So he says smiles are free. They don't cost you anything, but they can change someone's entire outlook on the world. And
I
I have
love
to
it.
remember that. I need to be better about just smiling more.
Mm-hmm. Don't we all?
Yes.
I know. That's why my husband, he's one of those. I'm always like, smile, because he's this big old guy, and I'm like, you're so intimidating if you don't smile.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you know how guys are.
Serious.
But
Yep.
yeah, too serious. And I'm like, and he'll smile, and it changes your whole persona.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes such a difference. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
More
But-
approachability.
So what else? We're talking with Rachel Allison. This is staypositive.news, talking about the positive news of the day. I'm getting a traffic report. They say there's a wreck up here at Highway 49 at WDBL Drive. Y'all be careful, man. I'm getting messages from my husband right now who went and recovered something that I left at Epiphany last night. Thank you for all those who helped me. Don't you hate it when you do that? I've told my computer got damaged. Don't have drinks by your computer. I tell my kids that all the time. And just a little bit of water got on my computer and it destroyed it, or at least for the moment. I think we're going to try to fix it, but we'll see. But nonetheless, they're helping me out because I left something at the church last night. So they went, him and Thomas Turnage went and recovered it for me. So thank you guys very, very much. But we're talking about the positive news of the day. We just, all the different things that make life a little bit easier to navigate, because this can get hard,
Yeah.
at times. You guys have been through it with tornadoes flattening everything and having to dig out of that. Are y'all doing okay now? Are y'all back kind of on track because
Yeah.
that's really just been a month ago. It's not, it feels like it's been longer, but it really hasn't been, has it?
Yeah, it's been just over a month, and it really slowed our progress down on our home renovations that we were doing.
Right.
We started back in January. So we didn't get much done in April, but we're back rolling at it now. I'm just so sad to lose those big trees in my yard. I was telling you that was part of the reason that attracted us to the home in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's
Yeah.
just trees.
I know.
But we're doing good. And
Plant you some weeping willows.
ooh,
And, yeah,
okay.
they're fast to grow, and it'll take a minute to get them. If you've got a wet area, it'll take a minute to get them established. But once they start going, they're just they shoot up pretty quick. Now the roots are invasive. I know. I love weeping willows. I love weeping willow trees.
I need to look into that. We're on septic, so that might not be good.
Well, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful about those invasive roots. But no, there's some fast growing ones out there that you can get. And
Yeah.
I know, but I love trees too. I know exactly what you mean. I hate that. I hate that for y'all. But you can plant something new, and give it a new look. So, but
Exactly.
yeah, it'll be all right. But God bless y'all. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and pause just real quick, and let's talk about one of our sponsors right here, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. If you're needing help in the real estate community, they are absolutely the ones to talk to. Barry has been sending me some listings he has. They have had. Let me see if I can pull these up real quick. But he will, if it's something that he's like, hey, I've got this house up in Greenbrier. These kids could go to school with you. And he'll send me the Greenbrier listings. He'll send me listings in the area up near where we live, because we've been keeping our eye on property just at the top of the hill from us, because we've got a kid that's coming in talking about wanting to build on our property, but we don't have road frontage at the top of the hill. So we're, keeping an eye on that just to see if something comes up so we can be able to maybe add to our property. That's something people don't really think about that when it comes to realtors. If you want to keep your eye on a specific area, you can say, okay, I've got property here. I'd really like to see about something right here. And maybe you're trying to add to the land you've got. Maybe you want to just downsize a little bit. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, so she's expert at that, being able to help you, make those plans for when you're a little bit older. What's the tax implications? She studies all that stuff. That's another thing. Like me, they're originally from Kentucky, so they understand the nuances of living in Kentucky, which has a state income tax, and working in Tennessee. How's that going to affect? I mean, that's your bottom line. When you're talking about how much home can you afford, well, if you're going to have to pay a state income tax, you need to take that into consideration. But you can find homes that are a little bit lower in cost if you cross that state line. All this stuff, they love to talk to you about this. They're going to be at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. They'll have their tent set up. Great opportunity. You don't have to wait until festivals and things like that to catch them out to have those conversations, but it would be a great opportunity to sit down and talk to them if you've got some real estate questions. If you want to see this beautiful home in Greenbrier that's at 2025 Grandview Drive, absolutely gorgeous, 4-bedroom home, 3.5 baths, 4,400 square feet, beautiful home, beautiful listing they have in Greenbrier. I could teach you kids. How about that? All these things. If you want to connect with them, you can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com to talk to them about all the things that they have going on in real estate. I'm trying to pull up Rebecca's number here real quick before we end their ad this morning, but you can also give them a call, or you can, again, sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com, or call Rebecca at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always, please let them know that you turned sent you. It's so weird. You get used to your new buttons on different electronic things, and I'm not used to having to navigate. Isn't that weird how you get accustomed to stuff? Or if you change phones, you're like,
where is everything?
Yes, it's like, so I'm sitting here hunting, trying to find all the things. So sorry I rambled there for just a little bit. What else do we want to talk about?
Oh, I think we need to read Miss Mabel.
I was gonna say, I was like, are we gonna do Miss Mabel?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
So she's had a couple articles recently, but this one I think you'll relate to, because it talks about, well, I'll just read it. So Miss Mabel is our advice lady. She's been writing for us for over a year now, and you can ask her questions if you need advice on anything. She will read your letter or your message on social media if you want to reach out that way, and she will respond, and she'll tell it to you straight. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of humor. We love her.
And I love it. Truth be told.
Truth be told.
Truth be told with Miss Mabel. All right, let's go. What you got for us?
Dear Miss Mabel, my husband and I are struggling with the amount of help we should be providing our young adult children, especially our daughter. On one hand, we believe that as long as they are in school, college, we should make their lives relatively easy to manage, but we both also worked our way through college and survived. Where do we find the balance? Parental predicament, Portland, Tennessee. So Miss Mabel says, truth be told, just when you think you've got this parenting thing figured out, they hit a new life stage, don't they? Then bam, you're right back in the fray of figuring it out as you go. First, I think it's worth noting that you are giving serious thought to this. It's easy to spoil our kids, especially when they're good kids doing good things. I don't see a darn thing wrong with spoiling them a little either. Shoot, we want them to have a better life than us, right? The tricky part, like you said, is where we draw the line. To me, I reckon as a general rule, in any stage of raising children, the parenting needs to start where their capabilities end. So just like you wouldn't require a 6-year-old to wash his own clothes, but it's perfectly reasonable to ask them to put away his clean laundry, that same formula can be applied to any age.
Okay, you just got to pause right there. That's brilliant.
Yes.
That is, I mean, that honestly, I love that. Parenting needs to start where their capabilities end. Ooh.
I know.
That's good.
I know. I'm sitting here thinking
That's
like,
good.
okay, what do I need my children to start doing?
Wow, that was profound, Miss Mabel. That was really good. I just had to pause right there because man. Okay, so go ahead and start maybe with college age kids. Go.
Maybe with college age kids, if you have the means, you'd carry the insurance on her car, but she's responsible for the gas. You give her money for the grocery, but it's on her if she wants Chick-fil-A. Another way of looking at it would be you supply her needs and leave the things she wants for her to figure out. I firmly believe college kids should have a job. They do not need too much time on their hands. Too much mischief and debauchery as possible, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Idle hands and stuff. I don't really want to get into the debate of whether kids should be on their own after 18, but I will say this. I think learning to do without is a life skill. Amen, Miss Mabel.
Amen.
You can't grasp the difference between needs and wants unless you have to make that choice. Running the road seems less important when you can't use mama's fuel points anymore and daily coffee run takes a back seat to paying for lunch if you're hungry. In short, I'd let them struggle a little bit, just enough that they learn to prioritize and develop their own values at least. Good luck. I wish I could say this is the last of it, but next you get to sit back while they make the same parenting mistakes you did.
That's so funny because, I'm super blessed with 4 boys that are, I'll brag on them. They're just amazing. We don't have to, they don't come to us for anything. They haven't for years. And part of that though, is the fact that while we did spoil them when they were very young, as they were getting older, their dad developed health issues. And so we had to circle the wagons. We ended up closing a business after 20 years. And suddenly surpluses we had were no more. And we were just trying to stay, just to stay above water. Right.
Yeah.
And so, and especially the 2 younger ones, they always like, the older ones had it easy. And they did have it easier. But it served them all well. Every single one of them. They are, I've got an electrical engineer. I've got 2 at HCA. One's a director. One's like a project or I forget what he does, but he was the Innovator of the Year last year. I got a clinical counselor. Oh, I got rock star kids. It's just, so I'm really blessed. But I'll tell you, I think the fact that we had to stop spoiling them. And we never, even when we had the roofing company opening and we had, more income and things like that, we spoiled them on certain things, but we kind of used this as a guideline. This was kind of what we were doing, and I don't think we realized it. But they had things they had to do. They had to work. They had to contribute. And so, and they always had chores. And we've had the good fortune of being out on land where my kid, if all the people come up and they're like, they love all the rocks that circle my house and my landscape and stuff. My middle son moved most of those with a wheelbarrow down to the creek and back. And I'm not kidding, because he was a little knucklehead, and that was one of his punishments is go get the wheelbarrow, go get me a load of rocks.
That's amazing.
And I'm telling you, and if you see my yard, that's not just from here to there. It's like down a hill, because it's a big field between me and the yard, or me and the creek, and you can see it, of course, but it's a haul. And coming back up that hill with those rocks, build character, man. But that's the kind of things that we would do with our kids. But I love this article.
Yeah, I knew you would.
I need to read it to my high school kids, because I've got all these high school kids now. Oh man, that's going to be one I think I'm going to print and I may frame. That was really good, Miss Mabel. Good job.
What do you think about the whole having a job while in college? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I
do
do
too.
Because I didn't have one for part of the time I was in college. And it would have probably kept me out of trouble, because when I was growing up, I got to get you a copy of my book and you can read my story.
I love it.
Because I made a lot of mistakes. I was a really good kid in high school, and I went to college and went really wild. And I think if I'd had now the only thing is, I was on the radio there. We had a college radio station, so that was work for me. So I was busy with that.
Yeah.
And I did as much radio as I could while I was in school, and because I just fell in love with it so quick. So I guess I kind of did, but it was more part of my academic life, and you just did radio. But, so I don't know. But absolutely. My mother, she always said, I should have made you work, because she would take care of, she was giving me money that Daddy didn't know about. Yeah. She'll fess up to it. She goes, if your daddy knew how much money I was giving you, he'd be so angry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kind of conversations happened. And I was thankful for it at the time, but in the same sense, now looking back on it, I was like, oh, we probably should have had a better plan, huh, Mom? But we were real close. So yeah, it's hard. It's
hard.
hard. It's kind
It
of like
is
that
hard.
balance. There's nothing wrong with spoiling your kids to a point.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my parents did a great job with this for me. They paid for my medical insurance all the way until I got married and paid for my phone, same thing, and paid for insurance on my car as well. But, when I was 18 and dumb, I wanted to buy myself a new car, and they said, okay, well, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then in college, I was stuck with a car payment and had to work for it. And when I went to Lipscomb, I transferred as a junior. I really wanted to try to walk on the soccer team. And I spent that whole summer in the gym, training hard, trying to get in shape, trying to get my mile time down, working on my soccer skills and everything. And when it came time to try out, and I realized, oh, I'm not going to be able to have a job and work while doing soccer for Lipscomb. My parents did not offer to pay my bills.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to play. And I was mad at them for it. But at the same time, it was a great life lesson for me.
Yeah.
And I missed out on that opportunity, but I probably gained a lot of other opportunities through having to work at the same time. So I'm thankful for that balance that and those life lessons.
For sure.
Yeah.
And again, there was so much that I truly think that if we had not hit the problems that we had with, having to, close things down and all that, Mark, he got sick and it was just nothing we could, he's fine now. But we had a 10-year journey of issues with his health. And if it hadn't been for that, and if we'd stayed on the path to where we would have spoiled our kids rotten.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid we would have. And, and like what Miss Mabel said, watching your children parent. And that's probably one of the biggest concerns we have now as grandparents is please don't spoil our grandchildren too much. They're great. All my grandkids are wonderful. But I do worry about them being a little bit too spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when I see those little tantrums, I'm like,
Yeah.
But maybe they're being handed a little too much, but I'm not the parent. So
No.
I don't get to make those decisions. But isn't that cool? I love Miss Mabel. Absolutely. I love Miss Mabel. I love the good advice, but that was a excellent piece right there.
I love it.
Very good. So what else have you got for us, Miss Rachel Allison?
Do you suffer from any allergies?
Yes, I do. And you would think that growing up in this area, I grew up on a working farm, still working farm, thanks to my brother and his beautiful bride. They still farm, third generation, so proud of them. But when you grow up in the cornfields and the soybean fields and around that stuff, you feel like you kind of get an immunity to it, right? Oh, no. My mother developed allergies late in life, and I've got more so.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you
I've
got some
developed
good
them
advice
too.
for me?
I do. Actually,
right.
have you heard of alpha gal? It is your allergy response, I think, when you get bit by some sort of tick or bug or something.
Okay.
And your immune system shuts down. You can't have red meat. You can't have dairy.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of people that are that, that do that.
It's life changing and debilitating. So, good news. We have a local doctor in White House, Dr. Jeff Lamberth of Lamberth Family Chiropractic. He has developed a technique. It's called SAAT, and it's an acupuncture-based therapy that literally just involves the placement of a tiny needle in the outer ear. And this helps restrain the immune system. And this is a natural approach that he has discovered that completely heals people suffering with allergies and alpha-gal.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
He first did it on his mother.
Okay.
And she was completely hopeless before and was healed. If you are a chronic allergy sufferer, I'm not. I'm thankful to, I just have, I take a Claritin every day. And for the most part, it deals with it. Maybe there's a couple weeks in the spring but there's people who suffer and have to get allergy shots weekly.
I'm not there. My mother took allergy shots, but I've got a nephew that has terrible allergies up in Kentucky. And so, Wade, maybe we need to get you He'd be like,
seriously, some acupuncture.
yeah, he is. Well, I can just imagine. I'll have to ask him about it because he'll be like, "What?
I know, and it sounds
You want to do
crazy.
what? You want to do what, LaVern?"
Just a tiny little needle.
Yeah.
But think too about your kids who have like peanut allergies,
Yeah.
or severe dairy allergies, or egg allergies. I can think of 5 kids right now that I know and love that I'm gonna go tell their moms, like,
Try
you need
it.
to look into this.
Yeah, for sure. And so tell me who this person is again.
So Dr. Lamberth of Lamberth Family Chiropractic and Wellness in White House. They also have an office in Murfreesboro if you're down there and you're listening.
So is there a story that goes along with this?
So the story is how he healed his mother. So she had spent years suffering from the alpha gal, and Dr. Lamberth has been, doing acupuncture and chiropractic for years and years. And, his mom was just like skeptical,
Right.
of course, like anybody
Oh,
else.
sure.
Skeptical. How is like a little needle gonna fix me? But sure enough, he convinced her to start letting do treatments and completely healed her. And this is like a groundbreaking thing.
Okay.
This is not something that you're going to hear about and know about of how to heal alpha gal. And if you have alpha gal or you know someone who has alpha gal, please pass this story along to them. It could change their life.
Yeah, I'm looking at the story now. I just found it. And again, just go to staypositive.news and you can find these stories. They have a little, the drop down over to the right if you're on your phone, and it'll pull up just the different categories and things like that. I think I found this one in What's Going On.
Yep.
I think that's where I found it under that heading. And I think that's where I finally found it. But you just scroll through it. And what you're going to do is you scroll through it and be like, oh, I want to go back and read that article. I want to go back and read that article. And so you're going to find tons of articles you want to read. But how can that we can follow you and you'll send us alerts and all that kind of thing? How does all that work? How do you get signed up for that?
Yeah, so if you click on our website, staypositive.news, there's a little drop down where you can subscribe for our newsletter. And you can just fill that out, your name and your email, and then you will get our weekly email blast where we send out our top news stories with links to read those.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a community calendar on there that highlights local events that are positive and free for people to attend.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also lots of other little goodies in that email blast. If you don't feel like getting on social media every day, you can still have that good news delivered right to your inbox. So we love to offer that.
Very good. It works out great. And as I was scrolling through the stories, I had the one that popped up for the youth fishing rodeo. And I don't want to forget about this because it is an absolute blast. We took my one year whenever we didn't have baseball. I don't know that we'll be. I'm gonna try to see if there's any way we can get Rowan there again this year. He had the best time at the fishing rodeo that they have. We have the best fishing rodeo in the state here in Springfield that they do out at Travis Price.
So fun.
Just the kids that come out for that, the adults, and they fish and they give away the best prizes, and it's just an absolute blast. It was so much fun. If you can possibly get your kiddos to the fishing rodeo. We'll get Terry in here to talk about it, but that's coming up, and there's a story in staypositive.news about it. It's on Saturday, June 7th, and they've got an online registration that you can talk about. I've got Caleb Stratton's going to be in here on Monday.
Caleb.
And yes. And I'm sure he'll bring it up as well, but because they're always there. They're not the ones really that put it on, but they're just there, supporting the different cities that do put on these fishing rodeos. But we've got a good one here in Springfield, guys. And that's again on June 7th. So if you can possibly be there, you will have the best time going out to the fishing rodeo. And I'm not sure that we may have the barbecue cook-off too on the night before. And then day of, because I know when we went to the fishing rodeo, we had the wing competition on Friday night. We went to the youth rodeo that morning, and then we went back by and had lunch with barbecue and all that. So I'll have to kind of, I talked to Trent Cobb about that the other day. They no longer sponsor it, but I kind of think that's still the same thing going on. So we're just so busy here in Robertson County. I guess y'all are too up in Sumner.
Yeah, we're just talking
so
about how
much.
busy the spring is.
But I love it that way.
Yeah.
I love it
Flies
that way.
by.
Yes, it does. It flies by, but there's always something good going on. They had the crawfish competition this past weekend. Everybody just had a great time. I was babysitting. I couldn't get there, but my hubby went and took my friend Muriel's husband, Michael, with him. And so they had a great time there. Nick finally made connections with Nick Barish. is an old friend of mine. We used to sit next to each other at the Titans games. Our Titans tickets were next to each other. And so I hadn't seen him in years, and I've been trying to figure out how to contact him because of the I'm teaching audio video, and I'm like, Nick needs to come talk to my kids. So we finally made contact yesterday, and so I'm so excited. And there's possibility he may come and be part of my husband just walked in with my bag. He got stuck in traffic. There was a wreck. I have
so good.
I have cost my husband his entire morning, and I love you dearly. Thank you. Look at that look on his face. If you can see, guys, you have no idea. Thank you, darling. He got caught in a wreck up here at WDBL Road. The traffic was really, really bad, but he went to retrieve my bag. I'm like, we both have first block planning at school, and I'm like, you've got some time. Please go get my bag for me. I had to.
Man.
Don't you hate to impose on people though? I mean, Thomas had to go unlock the bill. I was just like one of those mornings. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, but Nick Barris, he might be able to come to our Recovery Fest. Our second annual Recovery Fest, which is in August. I don't have the exact date in front of me. Y'all need to you'll have something about Recovery Fest.
Yeah, we will.
Because the guys are all involved with that. So
Yep.
Absolutely. So what else have we got?
That's
We've
so
got a few
cool.
minutes here before we wrap it up. What else do you want to cover?
I do have one more story, but
Okay.
before I get to it, I just want to say if you do have any information that you want Stay Positive News to cover, it's really, really easy. And we follow up to every lead that y'all send us. So literally just go to our Facebook page, our Instagram, send us a DM. You can also submit on our website. There's a form for you have a story to submit, or send me or Sarah an email. And our email address is super easy. It's Rachel@Stay Positive News or Sarah@Stay Positive News.
SARA, right?
H, no.
H. Okay.
Both
so
biblical spellings,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Sorry. sorry. So you got to
I
get it spelled right because I know Sarah. So
Yes.
There we go.
she's got an
Biblical
H on that.
spellings, Rachel and Sarah.
Rachel, biblical Sarah. I laugh. I joke about that.
Stay Positive News.
So please send us your stories. If you have free or positive events coming up in our community, send that to us as well. If you're a nonprofit and you have something going on, we love to highlight you guys. So go ahead and send that our way. And if you have a lead on a great story, like I said, we follow up on all of those and would love to learn more.
I had mentioned to Sarah this sweet girl that has alopecia that is graduating. And I really, Tabitha Lawrence, and she's one of our graduating seniors on Monday. And we did a little story on her. I'll send y'all some of my links. I keep saying
Please
I'm going to do that.
do.
I've got to do that because Tabitha, I think I talked to her uncle. I can remember it was in my very short stint at Payne Chevy, and I love you guys over at Payne Chevy. You know, that.
Oh, I love them too.
I just didn't like selling cars, but I'll sell them for you on the radio if you want to do an ad. But anyway, I was there at the car lot for just about a year, and somebody came in to talk to me about a vehicle, and we just how you sit and talk to people. And he said something about had a niece that had alopecia, and I didn't know what it was. And I think it had to have been her because it's so rare.
Yes.
And she lost all of her hair, and she came out and told her little story, and we did a little story on it because I was like, I don't want you to get out of school before we archive this. What an amazing young woman! What an amazing young woman!
We would
And
love to talk to her.
I've got to get you connected with them, and it's just a powerful story, I think. And so I'll make sure and send you that link so you can talk to Miss Tabitha. But there's all kinds of wonderful stories like that around the community. And,
There are.
And we just love telling them, and we love telling them here. So you can reach out to both of us. We can tell them on radio, and we can tell them in staypositive.news
Sure
too.
can.
So we'd love doing that. So again, tell them you can go to Sarah at staypositive news, not .news, or is it the
Sarah at staypositive.news is the email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Staypositive.news and yours as well.
Rachel
Okay.
at
Yeah.
staypositive.
Rachel's is
Yep, you can email
staypositive.news.
us both.
Well, anything else? Did you have another one from Miss
Yeah,
Mabel
just
that you
one,
wanted? One other one. Go ahead.
One other story, just a decade of gratitude. Anderson Rickman's story. 10 years ago, one of our locals, Chelsea Gutierrez, she's one of the owners of The Hole in White House. If you haven't been there, you
What
should
is that?
definitely go. You have not been to The Hole? You don't know?
I don't know anything about this.
It's
So what is
Robertson
this?
County's Speakeasy.
What?
It is in White House on 31W, they converted the old Farmers Bank, and it's now the upstairs is the flex space, Prosperity Mortgage. There's some realtors who have an office there as well. But in the basement, they created a speakeasy bar and restaurant. You know, they've got some food options there as well. And if you don't drink, they've got some booze-free options if you want to go. But it's a really cool environment. Like you walk down this staircase and you get down there and you're in this like cool basement, and there is a giant hole in the wall. That's why it's called the hole. There's some sort of corrugated pipe that leads to Lord knows where. That was built when the bank was built. So there's some sort of story there. And if anybody knows about this story of why why there's a giant hole in the bottom of the old Farmers Bank in White House, I want to know, because I want to write a story on it.
Well, yeah, that's odd.
But so anyway, it's one of Donnie's ventures as well, Donnie Eden. So Chelsea runs in as an owner in that. But so she tells a story about her son, who is now 10 years old. When he was an infant and they were still in the hospital, he had checked out with all of his procedures. They're like, great, you got a healthy kid. You're about to go home. She was breastfeeding him. He kept falling asleep. Every time he would breastfeed, just out. And she mentioned it to a couple doctors. They're like, oh, that's normal. That's normal. Well, she says it again to her lactation consultant when they come in. And this one lady's like, okay, well, let me get a pediatrician to come talk to you. And turns out the baby was having seizures and no one else in the hospital recognized it. And because of this lactation consultant, her name was Candy, she saved their baby's life, because they would have been sent home and that baby wouldn't have made it. And so he's 10 now. He just met Candy for the first time. They had stayed connected loosely. She had checked in with Chelsea over the years. And he's about to get off medication now. He's about to get clearance to be, you're good. And so this full circle moment, he meets the lady who saved his life at 10 years old.
That's amazing.
Really sweet. I was like tearing up reading
That's
it this
amazing.
morning.
That is an amazing story. I love that. I just love these. See, this is what you get with StayPositive.news.
It sure is.
StayPositive.news. You get all these good stories, and you need to get on their email blast where they can send it to you, and you just start your day with this stuff, guys.
Yep.
And if you have a good story that you want to share, or if you want to write and share your stuff, I've got to send them some links and some of the things I have written, I've told them about, and I'm going to try to get that done before you come back in here. Who's coming in next month? Do you know?
Yeah.
You think you'll be back, or no? You said who are you sending?
Nick Hartman.
Okay. I haven't met him.
He has been writing for us for about a year now. He works at Mount Carmel Baptist.
Okay.
And he's a great guy. If you are in Robertson County, you've probably heard of him before. He works with the youth at the church as well. He's a big sports guy, and he'll be great here. So I'm excited. Well,
and I'll tell you, if you want to have a lot of fun, go Written by the Readers. They've got some great stories on there, and I love the student stories that y'all have, where the students have written, and the headings. It's so easy to navigate on their webpage. Just go and just start clicking through the different headings, and you're going to have a whole lot of fun.
Yes.
StayPositive.news.
Check it out.
Check them out. Check everybody out. And I said Barry Rich is going to be in here tomorrow. Well, he's here today. I guess Lee Marie got him in here to talk about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. And you're going to be here tomorrow too, right?
Yes.
Who all are you bringing? You're bringing...
It's Chester and Pat Lowry from Strings and Beans.
Strings and Beans. Chester and Pat Lowry from Strings and Beans. What is the guy's name that plays the fiddle, the big tall guy?
Michael Fagan.
Michael Fagan. For some reason, I was wanting, because he reminds me of I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, he's tall.
But Michael Fagan too. But he's an amazing fiddle player. But I had him in my mind for some reason. But nonetheless, Barry is here now. They're going to be talking about, I'm guessing, Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival.
I think she's stuck in traffic.
And they're going to. Oh my goodness, she's stuck.
Put me on the mic and I'll
Okay, well, I tell you what. Let me make the switch, and I'm gonna let Barry come over and take over, because I gotta go to school. I gotta go to school, and I gotta get to school, because we're here at the very end of it. And my goodness, I don't think we could be busier. But so we're gonna switch over. We had a little wreck up here at 49 at DBL, and so that's what's got us tied up a little bit. So Rachel, Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys
again.
for joining us. Stick around because we've got another full hour of local programming coming up with the Ghost Show. Lee Marie is going to be joined by Barry Richards, and Barry Richards is going to take the helm for a few minutes while I slide out, and he's just going to get his radio on this morning. Thank you guys for joining us. Stay tuned. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a great day.
And we have no items of regret to report this hour.
Hi, this is Jonathan with the LaFavor Quartet. You're listening